Welcome to the Permission Mission Broadcasting Live Show. My name is Mary McElhatton. I am your host today. Thank you so much for joining in. I know that this particular topic is not everybody's favorite, but it happens to be mine, and I'll explain why. So Permission Mission is bridging the gap between life and loss, promising value to both. I realized at the age of 14, when my brother passed away in 1981, that it was something that many people didn't want to talk about. I'm not sure which hurt worse, the fact that I lost my brother or the fact that we just became a silent family and didn't talk about something that was so important for all of us to continue to understand what had happened and also continue to understand how we can stay close as a family. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to all of you who have watched the Permission Mission Live show last week. It was my very first one. I've gotten some tremendous positive feedback. I had a couple calls that had come to me directly from people I know and people I love. They like what I'm doing. They too have had loss in their life, and they said, Mary, oh my gosh, no one ever gave me permission to talk about it either. So obviously, we're on to something great here. You know, Albert Einstein said, he has a great quote that I thought was a direct example of what it is we're talking about here. And he said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it enough. And that is where I am just so motivated to, with integrity, bring the conversation alive of mortality so that we can have better understanding of it, be prepared for it, and also find some peace in those that we have already lost. So I don't know about you, but are you the black sheep in the family? I I am not, okay? I think I'm not, but again, we have a big family, like I had mentioned last week. I'm 10 of 11 children. And in our family, we actually, I think, have about 2 black sheeps of the family. But let's think about what a black sheep is, first of all. So the black sheep of the family is typically that one who doesn't agree with everybody else. The black sheep of the family is the one who, you know, tends to rebel a lot and have their own opinion in their own way. And I think that's okay. It's just, you know, it is what it is. We all have our different opinions. We have different personalities. I find that out every single day with my own children and my grandchildren. It is a blessing that they're all different. But when it comes to the black sheep, sometimes it gets a little bit tough to get close to them. Just simply because they have their own opinion, and they tend to kind of upset the family a little bit more than we'd like that. So when it comes to the black sheep, I was thinking how it also is the conversation of death. It's the black sheep. It's the one that we're going to resist. It's the one that we don't want to communicate with. It's the one that we'll tend to avoid. It's the black sheep in the room where we just simply don't have enough understanding to it yet because it's a tough topic. Today, I'm going to talk about the myths around death and dying that we've kind of bought onto over the last many years. I've done some studies, and it simply was a conversation that just started to become silent because it was a lot easier. Let's face it, it is. I still get that little jitter in my gut that says, wait, Mary, you're not supposed to be talking about it. It's so much easier if you just avoid it. And that's not working for me, and it's probably not working for you either. I found a lot of peace in this particular Permission Mission platform to openly, proudly, bravely discuss mortality so that, again, we are better prepared, better equipped. And also, if I know that I'm going to die one day, I certainly want to know more about it. And I've heard from a few people that love me, they too want to know more about it because we're all in it together. So I had a really neat post on one of my channels. By the way, for you to watch Permission Mission, you can go to WWDBTV.com. You also can go to their YouTube. So that's WWDBTV, that's a mouthful, YouTube channel. It is going to be posted on my Permission Mission Facebook and also Mary McElhatton Facebook. So if you do not, if you're not watching live or you want to share this show with somebody else, you may have somebody that you know has had a loss in their family or maybe dealing with one now that they would be able to benefit from this information because, again, I think a lot of people are going through it alone. I don't want to see that happen anymore. I want to see us talk out loud and be able to know that we're there for each and every one of us together, not in this alone anymore. There was a gal who had posted on one of my, on the Permission Mission Facebook, who responded. Last week, I had reached out to you all and said, please, if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want me to cover, because again, we talk about the hard stuff. We're not afraid to talk about the hard stuff. We're bringing the hard stuff to the surface so we can deal with it today and find some joy in it some way or another while we can. She had responded about anger. And so today I'm going to talk about that. I know anger kind of comes with the whole grieving. It comes with, again, not wanting to recognize that we're going to be different in a day, in a second. Things can change so rapidly, quick. Also, I'm going to talk about those myths. So those will be coming up. Stay tuned. Make sure that you stay with me. I think the myths are going to blow your mind, but I also, the simple technique that I used when I was going through my losses and trying to figure out how to relieve myself of the anger that would constantly come up by losing somebody that maybe I didn't have a chance to say the things that I wanted to say. I didn't have the, I kind of had that guilt, you know, and I think a lot of people experience a guilt that, did I see them enough? Did they know that I loved them? Uh, did they know that they were important to me? And then the biggest thing for me was when I lost my siblings, I was really always questioning, will they be remembered? Are they going to remember how they were? I mean, my brothers were pretty cool. My one brother had adventure written all over his life. He was just an adventurous guy. My other brother was pretty quiet. He kept to himself, but he was strong and he was an amazing carpenter. So I often wondered, like, because they're gone, will people remember who they were and who and what a difference they made in our family and that they're still loved? So Permission Mission is also not only like we are talking about mortality, our own mortality, and we're also honoring all those who have passed before us, and we don't have to sit in silence anymore about it. We can openly talk about our feelings, whether we're angry, whether we're sad, whether we're curious, which is what I was at 14. I was curious. I really wanted to know, why do we not talk about death when it's happening 100% of the time? That didn't set well with me. I didn't understand, if it is going to happen, then wouldn't we want to talk more about it so that just so that we'd have some foundation to build on. And of course, my parents, you know, they just weren't in a place to do that. And then a world that supported not talking about it, it makes sense to me now. But today is a different day. Today we can talk about it. Today we can embrace it. And today we can be better prepared for when that day happens. How do we want to leave the world? How do we want to leave our family? What kind of messages do we want to leave behind? As a mother and a grandmother, I certainly don't want to leave them without a roadmap of when I take a trip of a lifetime. And I'm pretty sure that once you stay with me and stay with learning more about permission mission so that I can clearly communicate it to you, I think that you're going to see the value there for yourself and your family. So we are going to come back here in a few minutes. Stay tuned. We're going to get ready for commercial. And also just stay tuned with, again, the YouTube channel of WWDBTV.com. You'll be able to download it or share it with your friends. Again, the permission mission, bridging the gap between life and loss, promising value to both. We'll be right back.
Most business owners struggle with the following issue. How do I brand my business to get noticed? Double Eight Design Studio helps businesses by designing brands that boost confidence, look and feel timeless, stand out from the competition, and attract all the right clients. Whether you are in need of a new brand, upgraded design elements, or completely redesign your current brand, Double Eight Design Studio has fully customized packages for your business. Call Chelsea McKendrick at 702-525-3334 and visit www.double8designstudio.com. Let Double Eight Design Studio give you a brand new outlook for your business.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Permission Mission. My name is Mary McElhatton. I am your host today. We've got a lot of exciting things still coming up. I'm going to be talking about anger with losing somebody who has already passed away. I've got some myths that we're going to go through and just kind of unpack these myths that we've developed over the years. And some of them work, and some of them I think can use a little bit of change. So I was talking, permission mission is where we bridge the gap between life and loss, promising value to both so that we can find peace in the preparing for our mortality and also find some peace for those who have passed before us. It's a different approach, but one I have found a lot of healing. I've been on this mission actually since 1981, losing my first brother, and nobody wanted to talk about it. It really spiraled our family into a downward spiral, and our family that once felt very, very close all of a sudden didn't. And then when my father passed away in 2013, he brought it all back together because for the 3 months that he knew that he had with us, all of a sudden he became alive. He made amends. I saw a man come from a place of just holding back to a man who just put his entire life out on the line. He didn't stay angry quick. And I watched this for 3 months and I thought to myself, I feel more alive talking with him about the truth than I'd ever felt in my entire 54 years of life. And it didn't make any sense to me to keep it silent anymore. So I've been on this mission, on this journey to bring this topic alive and make sure that not only can we handle the hard stuff, because if we can handle the hard stuff, what else can we handle? I believe we can handle way more than what we thought we were capable of. So I have a gal who had responded on my website and on the Permission Mission Facebook. I had put it out there last week of anyone who has any particular topics or any type of discussions that you would like me to share. I am more than happy to do that. I want to make sure to involve you as much as you'll let me, because again, we're in this together. I want to talk openly together about this and just, again, prepare our families. The last 10 years, I have been working in the funeral homes, and it has taught me an education part of life that I want to bring it out into the world, because it is pretty interesting to learn what we don't talk about when I'm in front of it almost every single day, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So I believe that I did hear a phone ring. I think we have a caller that's finally coming in. Yay! I am so excited again for those who reach out and are brave enough to ask a particular question about something that now is being talked about. So who do we
Wait
have?
a second. Wait for her to give the cue.
Hello. This is Mary with Permission Mission. Who do I have on the line?
Hi, I'm Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you so much. Are you the Deborah that posted?
I'm Deborah.
Yeah.
I called and left a message.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay? Because I want to make
sure. 1 second,
sure.
we're having a problem with hearing.
Are you having a problem? I know it's the first time.
I can hear you now.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Hi, Deborah. Thank you for calling in. I did get your...
No, I'm good now. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So maybe turn off the, if you're watching the show,
I think there's a delay.
turn the sound down on when where you're watching the show so that you're not duplicating, getting the echo. I love this. See, we're learning. Technology is wonderful until it doesn't really work. So we still need people.
Okay.
It's called job security. All right. Deborah, you let me know when you can hear me clearly.
Okay.
You can hear me good?
I can hear you clearly. I did turn you down.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. You are the brave person to take this on. So what is your question, Deborah?
There's just a delay. When I speak, there's a delay.
Okay, just roll with it as best as you can. What is your question, Deborah?
Okay. My question was, well, actually, it was a statement, and I was. My question was, well, actually, it was a statement, and
You're good, Deborah. I can hear you.
And so the statement was, why am I still angry after the passing of a loved one? Can you hear me?
I can. And I can relate to you. I can relate in the sense that when somebody passes away, there are so many different emotions that people are going to feel. Whether some people feel a sense of peace for whatever reasons, I tell everybody it's not wrong how you feel. Some people get angry. Some people feel, again, they may feel or look happy, but they're really, I don't think they're happy. I think that they're nervous, right? Sometimes emotions take over and we tend to just share what's going on for each individual at the time. I believe that the best thing that I did was I sat down, I wrote out all the things that I was angry about for this person. Then I kept the letter with me for as long as I needed to. I would go back to it and read it again, because I think angry is a great emotion. I think that anger can fuel fires to be big again, but I also think that they can fuel up our life so that we live our best life. So when you have this letter and you carry it around for you for as long as you need to, the next step I would ask you to do is sit down and write out what your life is going to be like at the end. Make a list of things that you may have done or not done. Because when you bring mortality to yourself, rather than always just putting it on somebody else, meaning you can be angry that things that they did or things that they hurt you, but it's hard to be angry at somebody who's no longer here. So when you sit down and talk about your own mortality and things you've done in life and things maybe you haven't, you might find that you'll be angry a little bit at yourself because, right, we don't get everything done that we want to do, or we don't say everything we want to say. And there's where that anger is. And today I'm simply saying to you that you can do something about it. You'll decide whether to focus on the angry towards the person you love who's passed away, or take that sheet of paper of things that you want to do still and get excitedly angry and go after and get them done, because that's the gift that Permission Mission brings us, and the urgency that it can bring us to some understanding that people are going to go, and each of us have permission to go when we do. And if you want to stay angry at the person who's passed, you can. But if you want to learn to just understand that they were living their best life the way that they knew how, and they didn't have permission to talk about mortality, so there was no understanding to it. But today we do. Does that set well with you? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Thank you. That was some excellent insight. I just wanted to say, Mary, I was really impressed with your show.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, Mary, I was really impressed with your show.
I can hear that echo.
I loved what in your mission statement you said the end goal of this mission is to bring a sense of tranquility to the stresses around death.
Absolutely. There's more stress by not.
And I just wanted to say I heard you loud and clear. You talked about no longer should we suffer in silence. We need to talk about it.
Yes, Deborah, we can.
And my insight was, that so let me just step back a second here. The reason why I called in was because I loved what I loved the fact that Permission Mission gives you a format to be able to just let it go, to come out of that secrecy and to talk about it.
Well, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you calling in.
Because to be quite frankly, I was embarrassed because I was angry and I didn't want to be angry.
Well, you don't have to be embarrassed, because this is not an embarrassment.
I should be at peace because they have passed over. Like, I get that.
Yes.
I should be at peace because they have passed over. Like, I get that.
Deborah, we thank you for calling in.
I just wanted to tell you that's why I did it. I got courage and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to let go and let God.
Yes, that's the way you do it. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for being the first brave person to respond to Permission Mission and the goal so that we can accomplish this together and not be afraid any longer. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Okay, all right. Well, listen, the phone technology sometimes doesn't work exactly the way we want it, which is pretty much like this conversation. It's not always going to be a perfect conversation. I'll promise you that. The only thing that we can really gain from talking out loud about like the anger and talking about the frustrations and the guilt and the feeling ashamed is by openly just saying that this is what's going on for us. And I think when we hear it with one another, it really does relieve us from sitting in the silence alone and not feeling like it's or feeling like we're doing something wrong. And you simply cannot do this wrong. You simply cannot. The only wrong way is by not talking about it at all. So we are going to go to another commercial. I'd like you to stick with us, stay tuned here on WWDBTV.com YouTube and website, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here, we've had callbacks here, we've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space. Chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
Welcome back. My name is Mary McElhatton with Permission Mission, here bridging the gap between life and loss, promising value to both. I'm here to commit to, with integrity, to normalize the conversation of mortality. I want to bring this across every home, across America, across the world, because I believe that a lot of us have been sitting in silence about a topic that's so incredibly important to have while we can. Today, we did have a caller come in. Deborah, I want to thank you. I know we had some technical difficulties, yet we got through it. I appreciate your feedback. I hope that you're going to be okay with the anger and just work with it. Just work with it, not against it. Just keep working with it. Like I had mentioned, you know, when we bring mortality back to ourself, it does help us have better understanding to the passing of somebody we love. I know for a fact my siblings, if they were here right now, would never want to see me angry. They'd never want to see me hurting. They'd never want to, I mean, they'd want good things for me. And certainly the one thing I've walked away from losing my siblings is the fact that life doesn't last forever. So you want to get busy living. And I have gone and been more adventurous because of it. I have taken more risks because of it. I have been more kinder because of it. And there's so many gifts that when we're openly talking about this, that we get to receive from them because they teach us. They're our teachers at that point, if we allow them to. So I appreciate you being brave enough to call in and be the first to respond to a question or an issue. You too can also go into the Facebook Permission Mission and respond with any question or any interest that you would like me to talk more about. You can also go to my website, permissionmission.com. There is a place that you can inquire, talk with me. Also, you know, any families out there who really want to get past the fear of this discussion, reach out to me. I will personally help you get through it. I know that there's many people, many people out there that it's heavy on their mind of like prearrangements. They haven't done anything. They're worried about their family, what would happen in case that day was to arrive suddenly. You can eliminate that worry and stress by simply having the conversation ahead of time. Go to permissionmission.com, just connect with me, and I'll walk you through every step of the way. Now we're going to get into the last part of the show, and that is the myths. So, our common myths that we know about mortality is the fact that typically people who pass away are either, let's say, vintage. Okay, I'm a vintage person. I am over 50. So, anyone over 50 is in the club of the vintage club. I am proud of that. Okay. I want to be proud to be able to gracefully age and enjoy these later parts of the years that I have, if I have them. So typically, the common ways are we age out, right? We just gracefully age out. Other ways are accidents. Of course, accidents happen daily. There are more accidents happening out there on the road today than any other time. And that's simply because we've just lost track of the value of a human, the value of caring about other people on the road. Next show is going to be a tip that I called the 5-second rule. I use it every single day. I share it with people I love, people I care about, because it does make a difference when you're out driving on the road for yourself and your family and also for other people. So stay with me for next week. I'm telling you, next week, you're in for a great show. I'm going to talk about I'll have a guest on the show. We're going to talk about infant loss and how this person has been able to talk openly about her loss and how being silent about it for so long was really just destroying her and her family that she had here. I can relate. My mom went through the same situation. She had children alive and she had children that passed, and she really struggled with how to keep loving both. So the guest next week is going to talk about her story. It's a beautiful story and of courage and of strength and also this tip. So you want to stay tuned for next week's show. So another type of common way of passing would be as if we're sick, if we have some kind of health issue going on. Also, let's not again, I'm talking about hard stuff. So I'm talking about suicide, right? We don't want to talk about suicide because we don't want to talk about death, but we need to because they're directly in alignment with one another. And suicide is something that I've experienced in our family, and I know a lot of friends who have experienced in their family. And I'm here to say that it is not something any one of us want to ever go through, but it is something that does happen. Again, this is a common way of passing away. I'm going to say murder. I mean, someone taking the life of somebody else. It's so sudden and it doesn't make any sense. And there's so many angry people in the world, and I don't blame them. I would be angry too. Now, let me talk about the myths. Here's some myths that we've built around over the last many years, long before I was on this planet. The myth of children outliving their parents. I talked with that a little bit last week because that has been so profound for my mother to acknowledge and stand up for herself that children don't always outlive their parents, because she has 3 children that she has buried. So eliminating that completely, I know, is going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives, in a lot of people's hearts across the planet, because they have had to say goodbye to their child. So we just don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's eliminate that from vocabulary that it's a myth. It's not true. And that we are immortal. I am guilty. I said, listen, I'm not going to go. I don't need to worry about this. I don't want to talk about this. Because the other myth is, well, if I talk about it, I might die. Listen up, because we're all in this together. I have been pre-planned. I have made all my final arrangements. I have all my decisions made for 7 years now. I'm still here. I am alive and well, thankfully. Okay. So please know that if you talk about it, it's not going to happen unless it is truly your time. We have all the evidence in the world that people go when they're ready to go, and people who didn't go, who should have gone, didn't go. Because I have families that don't want to go and they're going, and I have families who want to go and they're not going. So we'll go at our own time, and I really that's helped me to have a little more understanding again about this conversation and dealing with the loss of my loved ones and my father. So if I am a positive person, I will not die. I have heard that. Listen, I am positive. I have everything I do in my life is all about positive reinforcement, positive action, and I'm a positive person. Well, good for you. Please know that you could be, and I love positive people. I do. I want more positivity in the world today. Um, I just ask you, if you're out on the freeway and the traffic's going crazy and you've got cars weaving in and out of you and you're going 100 miles, they're going 100 miles an hour. Are you still being positive? You could be, but please know that that doesn't eliminate you from what we're all going to have, and that's our day of departure. That's what my dad called it, his day of departure. I've adopted it as my day of departure, and if you want to adopt it as yours, you're certainly welcome to do that. It's depressing. It's a big one. I do hear that daily. It's depressing. It's morbid. Why do you talk about death? Why is it even important to talk about it? Well, because I truly believe by not talking about it, it's causing more damage. It's leaving people with unanswered questions, questions we could have answered ahead of time if we had a life to be able to do that. So if we have things, we have people we love, if we have not had this conversation, I encourage you to have it, because simply it's freedom. I've had more freedom in the last 10 years talking openly about mortality than any other time in my entire life. And answering the question from the age of 14, why do we not talk about death, has only brought so much freedom to live today, every single day. I promise you, you guys, if you're in an argument with somebody and you're thinking about the 5-second rule that I'm giving out next week, you will be on that phone and you will not be angry. It is proven. It works. And I think in this day and age, we're all looking for more things that work and staying away from the things that don't. So I want to leave you with this, because we're going to get ready to wrap up this show here soon. And again, if you have any questions, go to permissionmission.com. I wish you to be brave and ask me that question. Don't hold back. This is the platform that we're all going to be able to use to talk about the hard stuff so we can start enjoying the good stuff and enjoying our daily lives and not having this burden that's constantly on our shoulders, especially for us who have lost people we love. Let's remove the burden, and start feeling alive again, because that's what all of our loved ones would want. I wrote this it's been many years ago, but I think it's perfect to end the show today. And I wrote, waking up every day with the notion that it can be my last has unlocked a part of my heart that has been under lock and key for way too long. I put an actual year here, but I'm just going to say that it's for way too long. And I am truly enjoying life to the fullest, more so than any other time. Not that I don't have things going on, and not that I don't get upset about things that are happening or hurt because people didn't go home last night. But I am saying that if we continue to keep talking out loud and together, I believe that there's some places in your heart that the key is going to unlock, and you're going to feel much better. And that produces a little healthier, longer life if we have it. So thank you again for tuning in with this week's show of Permission Mission. I'm excited to be back with you next week. Please share this video with those you love, with those you work with. Please share this video with your family and start the conversation. A little bit of homework today for you. Make sure to answer this question yourself, because it's the hardest question for anybody to have to answer on behalf of somebody else. So I leave you with this. Talk with your family today and just let them know whether you want cremation or burial. Because when you do that, it does lift the burden of them thinking that they may have to answer that question wrong. And we don't need to do that. We can simply say what our wishes are to our loved ones, and never think about it again. All right. Let them know what you want. Please know that you can change it at any time. I've watched that over the years, where one wanted one and then they changed to another, or vice versa. And you can't get it wrong when you're doing it yourself. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Permission Mission. And I'm Mary McElhatton, your host. See you next week.